GM und herzlich willkommen zu Episode 32 von Kryptoticker, der Podcast. In dieser Folge haben wir Anjali Young von Collabland zu Gast. Anjali ist Co-Founder und CCO von Abridge und eines der wichtigsten Produkte von Abridge ist Collabland. Collabland wurde 2020 gestartet und ist eine der am weitesten verbreiteten und bekanntesten Lösungen, um Communities und Member zu organisieren. Mit 25 unterstützten Blockchains ermöglicht es Collabland, den größten und wichtigsten Blockchain-Projekten ihre Communities aufzubauen. Mit Anjali haben wir gesprochen über die Anfänge von Collabland, was eigentlich der große Unterschied zwischen dem Hype in 2021 und dem aktuellen Bear Market ist, wie sich Collabland auch weiterentwickeln wird und warum es ihr so viel Spaß macht, Communities aktiv zu gestalten. Und jetzt direkt rein und viel Spaß mit Episode 32 und Anjali Young. Pleasure having you here. Maybe could we just dive in directly with how you actually came up with Collabland or how you started? I mean, you are the co-founder, so you must have been involved pretty much from the very first draft when the idea came up. Can you maybe just elaborate a bit on how that came up?
Absolutely. Collabland wasn't the initial idea. Just like a lot of different people who are doing startups and are in tech or crypto or wherever, you have to kind of go with your intuition, go with your gut, pivot when you need to. We started in 2018 as a social recovery contract wallet, way back when. And that's with Abridged, our company. Collabland is a product of our company. So starting back to where we started, which was in 2018, the concept there was to get as many people into crypto as possible and understanding that the wallets that were available at that time were prohibitive to that. Like you have to know your seed phrase. If you lose it, if you lose access, like everything is gone. Like how are we going to get people to join if it's such a high bar? And it's so scary, especially coming from a world of social recovery. Anytime you lose your password, what do? You click retrieve
Support
password,
button,
right?
yeah, all that, yeah.
So it's a huge behavior change. And so we were trying to attack at that level with not a lot of traction. Same story with everything else. You try to come up with something you think people are going to want. It didn't really work out that way. And then in December of 2020, we pivoted to no-code tooling. No-code tooling saying, like, if we can't get users to come and create wallets, maybe we can go from the developer side, which is like build this no-code tooling, allow developers to make dApps, and then maybe that will attract more people to come to crypto, like if they have more to do. Prior to that, it was mostly just like ICOs and DeFi and trading, and which is back now. But at that time, it was very limiting in terms of like who would be able to participate. You had to have quite a high tech ability, be in the right places, be around the right groups. It was very limited. And so like why don't we have people create more applications, something that more people will be attracted to? And then in the course of doing that, we were also creating our own dApps using our no-code tooling to inspire developers. And so Collabland came out of that. There were many others that came out of that as well that didn't get this same interest. But Collabland was one of the dApps that we created, our team created, in order to say, look, you also can do something like this. And the reaction was overwhelmingly, oh, we're interested in this. Like Collabland, oh, this looks like something we could use. Getting people that all own the same token, or in our case, what we started off as a DAO tool.
Yeah.
Have everyone who has a DAO share to be able to join a community where we can talk about DAO goings on. Yeah, that seems interesting. And then if somebody sells their DAO share or transfers their DAO share, then they get removed from the group. Like being able to tie ownership on the blockchain to a type of social identity. At this point, it was just Telegram, and having that connection between wallet address and Dominic on Telegram, that meant something. And it was very inspiring for people. And so that's really what took off. And now we know it as token gating, and it's a primitive. But initially, way back then, it was just an experiment. just one of the experiments that we were trying to use to inspire developers.
Yeah. So basically, you started more or less also during a massive bear market scenario, right? So I can assume that you have been in crypto beforehand for a longer period of time.
Well, Bridge itself started in 2018. So that was during all of that was during the bear market.
Yeah.
My husband and I are co-founders. So we bootstrapped that ourselves to get us to really our first funding, which didn't happen until January of 2021. So having gone through that whole bear market, and it's interesting because that bear market really informed the bull market. The bull market was not a time we were growing and growing and growing, but it wasn't necessarily a time that we were like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Like so adrenaline, because once you've gone through a bear market, like at any moment, like that's coming. And I was really envious of people that were able to get like high and super enthused during the bull market, because that definitely was not us. It was, keep growing, make sure we can sustain all of this. And then education was a huge part of Collabland, because all the new people that were coming into the space, we have a support team. We were answering questions about wallets. We were answering questions about OpenSea. We were answering questions about Magic Eden. We were answering questions about the blockchain itself. We were answering questions about Discord. Like, it was really a stressful time as well, right, during the bull market. So, I would say it's different. When you've gone through when you've started in a bear market, you definitely have a different kind of perspective on the bull. And then now, of course, we're back in the bear market, and we know what we have to do, which is prepare for the next bull market, which is what we had done the last time. So
exactly, but that's
perspective.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm asking, because I mean, when you started building in that scenario back then, and then experienced that 2021 bull market scenario, you knew that things were eventually going to come crashing down as well, right? So your perspective on things and how they would develop was probably a different kind of scenario, but I can very well imagine that just a lot of things were carried towards you, or you were asked a lot of things once the bull market basically hit in 2021. So can you maybe compare that to the current situation? I mean, you already mentioned it a little bit, where you said that you are trying to focus on building and preparing for the next wave that is coming. I mean, that's right. A question that everybody somehow has, like, when is it going to pick up again? At least the people that entered in, let's say, 2020, 2021, when there will be the next run up.
Yeah. And, you can't say for certain, of course, you really don't know for certain. However, we're already beginning to see some signs of life. This bear market feels very different from the last one, because of the interest from established brands. We did not have established brands interested in the space. The NFT bull run, or what sparked the last bull run, really, if you even want to go farther to DeFi Summer, but with Collabland, we started as a DAO tooling, and then we moved into investment groups because of DeFi Summer. All the tokens that people had launched during the last ICO, people were building whale groups. And so with Collabland, what we really did is kind of follow along the users, follow along with, instead of having a prescriptive way of the way Collabland should work, which is like as a DAO tool and continue to build up the DAO stack. One thing we did during the bull market was follow the interest. It first went to investment groups, and then it went to social tokens. And so we started supporting more social tokens. And then it was like NFTs, and it was like, okay, what do we do now? NFTs are picking up, like, let's go wide here. Let's support all different types of NFTs. And so I think that was something that helped us during the last bull run, where it's like, when people are here, serve them. Like, don't be so stuck in your way of this is the way my product is going to be. These are the people who are going to use my product, and I'm only going to serve the people that I want to use my product. Like, I think we really shoot ourselves in the foot when we have that kind of attitude, because you need to think about what the goal is. What are the goals of what we're trying to do here? Are we trying to keep it a limited space for a select few? Is that the goal? Or is the goal for everybody in the world to be able to see what's happening here and be able to change their lives and affect some difference for themselves, for their families, for their communities, whether it be financial, whether it be status, whether it be more opportunities? Like, what is the goal? And for us from the beginning, the goal has been mass adoption. And I know that's a cliche and that's what everybody says, but it's really been true for us. And so it was easy to to decide what to do. And even now, like, I can talk about that a little bit more, but what we're doing now is we are serving the types of communities that are using us, but also we have knowledge over more experience over the last 3 years of Collabland specifically over what do communities need to survive? What do they need to thrive? They need opportunities. They need ways to help their engagement. They need ways to serve their members. And they're all different. Like I said, we have DAOs, we have NFTs, we have gaming communities, we have investment groups, DeFi groups. I mean, really all different types of communities, and they all have different needs. And so one of the ways Collabland is preparing for that is we have a marketplace. So now we have a mini app marketplace. And in that marketplace, we have lots of different mini apps already, about a dozen already, but more and more in the works, 3 or 4 coming every single month moving forward as developers get to learn about us. That's been a challenge. And that's something that we're working on, which is Collabland has always been focused toward admins, community founders, content or project creators. And now we have a whole other group of people that we are opening ourselves up to, which are developers. If you're interested in building in the crypto community space, which from our experience, we've seen has been the way that people get a toehold, a foothold into crypto community. And, you know, I make that comparison a lot to being like the child of an immigrant, right? Like when my parents moved from India to the US, they moved to a community with other immigrants where they learned together and they worked together and they shared information, shared education, shared challenges, shared dangers. All of that happened within a community. And we saw the exact same thing happening during 2021, 2022. And really, communities still grow. You know, I'm going to circle back a little bit, Dominic. But you said, like, when is the next bull market coming? Of course, nobody can predict the next bull market. I cannot predict the next bull market. But I will say we are seeing little fireworks in the horizon. Moments that are worth noting, right? And I would say Base launching to such a huge success, like that would be one. Like people are caring about that, right? Also with Collabland on Fridays, and this is brand new information, every Friday we share our metrics, right? Like what's happening with Collabland? How many new communities? How many new wallets? How many people click the Let's Go button? How many roles were added this week? How many roles were deleted this week? Which is the chain where communities are being built the most? Which types of tokens are people using in order to build community? And the data that was the most exciting for me from last Friday was that last week, Collabland had 4,000 new wallets added every day.
Every day.
Every day.
That's a lot.
And you're like, what is that? How is that? It's incredible. I will say it's never fallen below 2,000. So just to give you some context, it's never fallen under 2,000 every day, but it's doubled into 4,000 every day. And it's like, is that something?
I mean, is there something on the horizon that you can see popping up maybe?
Is there something? I mean, something to think about, right? Like this is just one metric, but Collabland services 25 different blockchains. So this is not information that anybody would really have unless they're seeing across all of the blockchains. So maybe people will say, oh, on Ethereum, there's only this many. On Flow, there's only this many. On Tezos, there's only this many. Like you see all these like isolated pockets, right? Of what's going on. With Collabland, I'm talking about across 25 different blockchains. So that's a big number. It's also across 25 different blockchains, but is it telling us something about interest in crypto? I don't know. You know, I can tell you for us, it was an exciting number. And so, you know, take that with whatever you want to. But I think of it as, in the way I'm imagining this, is like little fireworks. We're starting to see little spots of brightness. What does that mean? I
Let's
don't
see.
know.
Yeah.
We'll know in the future where we're
Yeah.
able to line up the dots.
Pretty sure. Maybe a question on, because you just mentioned that what's interesting is to see how many new communities are built and which blockchains they are built on. Can you maybe give some insights on that, what you're seeing, and also with regards to different types of communities being built on specific blockchains? Like what's the knowledge that you actually gather or gathered?
I don't have an answer to the last one,
Yeah.
which is what types of communities on what types of blockchains, because I haven't done the research before coming to this call. But I will say that the top community, that very top community last week, is a cross-chain community. So it's like, that's interesting that there are communities that are, like I said, we support 25 different blockchains. And so our communities are able to work interoperably with other blockchains. So that's something, we think a lot about, is there going to be one winner for crypto? Is there going to be one chain to rule them all?
And do you think so?
Or are there going to be interoperable where there's different functionality for each chain? I think that's what we're beginning to see, which is like there are different use cases for every chain, and people are maybe building their niche. And the number one community, and I'm not going to name it, but is a community that is a cross chain. The top chains are, for last week at least, were Ethereum, Polygon, and number 3 was Solana. And I think that is very interesting because Solana, there's a lot said back and forth about Solana, but when we track community growth, we're not tracking from the top down. We're talking about projects at the bottom level that are building on Solana, that are creating community. So it's really a grassroots metric. And so, whatever is being said about Solana out there, they are able to still have a grassroots network of people and projects that are building communities. So that's something. But that one kind of switches up and down. Arbitrum is there once in a while. It just alternates all the time about that third one. Tezos is there, but Solana is there right now. And
there is a lot happening. So you mentioned,
so you're seeing it too. So
definitely. I mean, when you follow the space and you follow different chains, and you're not that, let's say, narrow-minded or focused, whatever way you want to pronounce it or put it, then I guess you can see a lot of different things, as you also mentioned before, different sparks on different areas or different horizons, maybe giving hope, or eventually, I don't know, confirming your bias or whatever. You mentioned before that you received the first funding in the beginning of 2021, I think, right?
So, December of 2021.
I imagine that you probably had a vision in mind on where you would see Collabland eventually being in, I don't know, 5 years down the road when you initially received that first investment. Did that change in the meantime, or can you maybe state what that was back then, or how it actually came to that investment, and where you see the current vision of Collabland being in the future?
Initially, it was just building on, so the whole concept of Collabland really was not creating our own chat platform, not creating our own community platform, but going to where the members already are, not trying to convert anybody to join some Web3 space that they've never heard of before, but meet people where they are. And a lot of that learning came from my co-founder, my husband, James. He was a first lead developer on Farmville, which was a game on Zynga. And instead of Zynga having its own platform at that time, they were building on Facebook. And so distribution and patterns and behavior of people existing, places where people are already living and behaving. And also when you think about it, like building a new chat platform versus building on top of a chat platform where people have spent millions and billions of dollars just made sense. And so the initial idea was Collabland would move to more platforms, move to Reddit next. And we actually have a Reddit integration already. However, there was a lot of upheaval around Reddit, and now they are doing different things with their APIs. And we're not the only ones whose plans have been delayed on launching on Reddit, but there's a lot of other projects now that have not been able to continue on Reddit as well because of the changes in their API.
Okay.
And so that was the initial idea, was to, we started with Telegram. Now we had expanded to Discord. Then we would move to Reddit and then continue to move into new social networks, giving them that crypto tokenized community unlock as a feature of what they're already doing, how they're already engaging. I come from digital communities for many years. I started decades ago in digital communities. Before I came to crypto, I was an admin mod for a Facebook group with 60,000 people. And I know a lot of the challenges that happen in traditional digital communities, mostly around trolling and not really knowing who's invested and who's not invested. And tokenized communities solve that. They solve that. And they allow creators to also monetize in a way they've never been able to before. They also allow creators and projects to no longer have platform capture, because it's all based on the blockchain, where it's a public chain that everyone gets to see. It solves tokenizing crypto, solves so many fundamental issues that have been challenges for digital communities over decades. It's very exciting to have this unlock for communities. And so that was the initial plan. Just to go back to your question, that was it. That was the initial plan. Collabland will continue. We'll move into more places where our members are already behaving, and we're going to give them this amazing, fantastic unlock, which is tokens and crypto. Since then, things haven't necessarily changed from that. I mean, the original vision of going to where people are has stayed. However, now with 50,000 communities using us, of course, we are also have learned from the communities, and we want to, from what we've learned, we want to serve them better. And so now we have the marketplace. Now we have Collabland APIs. And so you can create your own token gated website. You can take your community wherever you want. Now, if you have a community on on Discord or on Telegram, and now you want to have your own token gated website, you don't have to have them sign a wallet again. They can use their same Collabland login, right? It's like really about portability and giving you, the content creator, the opportunity, and the community project owner, the opportunity to build on top and take your community wherever you want them to go, and understanding optionality. And now we have enough people that have connected with Collabland that we can offer this log in with Collabland, don't sign your wallet again. We already know you. We have enough information about individuals in our communities that we can offer this. And feel confident about it. So it's a different situation this side than it was on that side. That side, we didn't really have that many members. Like, we didn't get to 1 million members until October of 2021. So, January of 2020 was still just like a dream of what this could be. But we did, of course, already through between May 2020 and January of 2021, we had already seen like, this is something that has not existed before, and people need this and people want this, and it's captured their imagination. And you cannot disregard the fact that we were going through COVID. And so people were stuck at home. People were not able to go out to conferences. We started this call talking about conferences and how you usually do these podcasts at conferences. So we as well, we're going to conferences every month. You get to go to a new conference. You get to meet people. You get to have this one-on-one talking about crypto in the world and what's going to happen and how we're going to make all this amazing stuff happen. And it's going to be incredible. And then everyone's on lockdown and now you're just stuck. And so there was such a deep desire to connect around crypto. And that 100% fueled Collabland as well. And so would Collabland would it have been as successful at a different time in history? I don't know. I would guess not as successful. And then also I would say even would crypto have been as successful? When you think about Play to Earn and Axie Infinity and like all the people from tropical areas all around the world that started getting involved with crypto, millions of people, would they have if they were still running their resort? if they
Yeah.
still had other jobs?
Yeah. Probably not
Probably
that much.
not.
Yeah. It fueled it, definitely. Definitely.
Absolutely fueled it. And even now, like the interest in crypto is sustaining because of some of the financial decisions that were made during COVID, right? Like
Yeah.
in the US, we had a lot of, we're dealing with a lot of inflation right now.
Mm.
It's a very,
Same in Europe as well. We could also feel it really strongly.
so that's a big issue.
Mm.
And it comes from money being printed during COVID time. And now we're paying the price for that. So people are looking for alternatives.
Yeah.
It's like they've heard of crypto and now they're like, let me learn more about that. And so we're even getting the residual interest in crypto
Mm.
because of some of the financial decisions that were made
Mm.
during COVID. So
Mm.
COVID was obviously horrible for everybody, but I will say that it did expose that there might be another way to be. And it's those moments in history where things
Yeah.
kind of are able to come together at the same time that we see like a way to kind of get out from under the water. Right.
Ja. Fully agree, fully agree. Kurze Pause. Wenn dir diese Folge von Kryptoticker gefällt, dann drück selber mal schnell die Pause-Taste und lass uns eine Bewertung und ein Subscribe da. Das hilft uns als Podcast ziemlich und wir freuen uns natürlich über jedes Feedback. Und wenn du nach der Folge noch mehr Insights und Infos brauchst, dann schau doch einfach mal auf cryptoticker.io nach. Dort findest du alles rund um Kryptowährungen, Web3, NFTs und viele mehr. Bereits seit 2015 kümmert sich das Team von Kryptoticker darum, Neulingen und Profis eine Heimat im Kryptospace zu bieten. Auf cryptoticker.io findest du jeden Tag neue Artikel und Insights, prall gefüllt mit News, Tipps und Hintergrundinfos. Im Kryptoticker Discord kannst du dich mit Tausenden von Gleichgesinnten austauschen, Fragen stellen, Kontakte knüpfen und vieles mehr. Schau am besten gleich jetzt in die Shownotes, denn da findest du alle Links zu Kryptoticker und kannst direkt ein Teil der Community werden. Und jetzt weiterhin viel Spaß mit Kryptoticker, der Podcast. You mentioned before you started on Telegram, then went into Discord. Now with the marketplace, you provide the opportunities for developers to actually provide solutions so people can move their platform or provide any sort of portability to their own websites to build basically anything that's available. So my question is a bit, do you feel that the, let's say, mainly used communication channels for the crypto space, which in my opinion would be Telegram, Discord, X, formerly known as Twitter, maybe a little bit of LinkedIn, but I would say that's mostly about it. Would you say that these platforms provide the necessary tools for communities to grow in a way that is efficient and functioning, or do you think that there is a space available for new community platforms to be built, and is that something that you try and look into yourself or get a feeling for what might happen in the future? Do you know what I mean?
There's absolutely an opportunity, and we see them in terms of new social networks that are forming around crypto communities. And there's, of course, an opportunity for that. And there should be an opportunity for that. However, there are different entry points. And so for Collabland, we are focusing on the pre-token to the initial members, and then provide the tools for people that want to go more bespoke and grow themselves. I will say for now, there is no plan on the horizon to build our own network or build our own platform. The Mini-App Marketplace is really a way, like what we see, which is everyone's different. All communities are different. They all have different needs. Like we have no interest in trying to prescribe to how people should behave within their communities. Like the marketplace itself allows a huge variety, just like the Apple App Store. Like I use my phone for mostly sending pictures and taking videos. You might use yours for tipping and recipes. My mom might use it because she watches her spiritual guide sending her messages. And so it's like, just as much as the phone is different for everybody in the same way, and Apple doesn't try to make try to be everything to everybody. Collabland has no interest in doing that either.
Yeah.
We'll continue to build supporting tools, like we just are going to be launching Marketplace Auth.
Yeah.
One thing we know is that people want to be able to log in with their marketplace. I mean, that's everyone's choice. And so, we're adding that to Collabland verification. So we are going to be we just added multi-wallet support earlier this year, right around March, where it's like, instead of just one wallet, now we see people are using multiple wallets. I have my Bored Ape in wallet A, and I have my Pudgies in wallet B, and I have my Pepe token in wallet C, and I want to be able to connect to Collabland with all of them. So we are following along with like token verification, of course, and we'll continue to support that, which is our foundational product. However,
core basically,
core basic, but what people need, what people want, where it's going to be a collaborative effort. And we especially want to support developers who maybe don't have a full team yet. Maybe they don't have a lot of funding yet. Maybe they're just testing out an idea. Like, this is really a place for experimentation. Collabland started with experimentation. Like, getting a distribution channel for your experiment is incredibly difficult. And so if you have an idea, if you're willing to support, if our community wants it, this is all the DAO decides. The DAO is in charge of curating the marketplace. And so it all goes to the vote to whether they want it in the marketplace or not. And that's really a way to align the people who are using your product to the actual services of your product as well. They determine what's going to be in the marketplace, but it's like, let the communities themselves decide what they want. Now, as far as like Discord, Telegram, LinkedIn, Token Gated websites, like, is there room for others? Of course there's room for others. And that's the beauty of the blockchain, is that people can have their community in multiple places. Like, I don't even imagine Discord being the only place. Like, I think of Discord as kind of maybe the first place they go because people know Discord. And then you can have subgroups in different places, and all of those subgroups can be created permissionlessly. Like, you don't need the project owner to decide, like, I want to create a group for you. You don't get to tell me whether I get to or not. I can use the token, and I can allow members of the token or any holders of the token into my group now. So there's no limit, and there's no either or. In the same way, just like we all use the internet in different ways, like, I imagine communities also meeting in different places for different needs. So I think that's where it's going to go. I don't think it's realistic to say everyone is going to go to just one platform and that's where their quote unquote community is going to live. We're too big. Communities are too big, and they're too different. And now, and I will stop after I make this one last point, but it's like, we're able to connect with each other on a global level. You have people that are taxi drivers and owners of major Silicon Valley companies and moms in Nebraska, or it's all students in Shanghai. Like, you have all different types of people joining one community, maybe over one asset, but they're going to want to meet with their cohort in a different place, in different places. So we can't even assume that everyone is coming from the same place. They're not. And that's really the beauty of what we're doing here, right? Is being able to coordinate together on a way that just was never possible before.
Yeah. I can see that, and it sounds super inspiring, right? And it is. That's the beauty of it. You really have all the opportunities that are available, and you could really build something for yourself in the way where you think that's the right approach to do.
Exactly.
I just want to ask one thing. So you're CCO, so you're in charge of the commercials, right?
Nope, it's for chief community officer, but I will say I mostly do everything that's not the tech related work. So I do the podcasts, I do the speaking at the conferences, I have the relationships with all the project owners, I interact with all the blockchains and the wallets. I'm an advisor on different groups. I'm an advisor on the Web3 advisory board for Salesforce and also for Tachyon, which is a new project out of Consensus Mesh. I would say anything that's like people related is my job, and also support as well. Managing what support tickets are coming in, what are people asking for, how do we determine if we're going to take on that initiative or not. The deeper relationship with the people of Collabland is where my position sits.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, because that's more or less what I wanted to ask. Because my question is, what do you do basically on a daily basis? And I assume now from your explanation that you gave, it's mostly really talking to people and being in touch with a load of people, right?
It's talking to a load of people. Yes, and then we have some initiatives. I mean, even our new initiatives that are coming out have to have weigh in from comms,
Yeah.
which is like all of our public facing messaging. And so it's like even our product is really led by what do people want? How do we fill that need? It's not like an engineering led. It's more like comms, social / engineering led. So really it's a lot of meetings all day long. So many different, I go to conferences all the time. I meet lots of different projects. They're interested in building mini apps. And so there's a lot of like, what do Collabland communities need? And then how can you fill that need? What can you tell me about your product? What about your product is going to serve community? All right, let's talk about that. And then we kind of like brainstorm together about that. And then I will pass them on to our DevRel director. So not every project is a fit, but a lot of them are great fits. Some of them are not great fits. You have to go through that initial assessment with them. But I don't know. It's a very busy day.
Okay, but you love it, obviously, right?
I love it. I will tell you why I love it. I love it because I've always been a part of online communities, digital communities, like I mentioned earlier. And to be at the ground floor of a new type of community is ridiculously thrilling. I can't tell you how wonderful it is. I will also say that what gets us through the bear markets is I graduated from college in 1996, and my first job out of that. So I'm going to be 50 in a few months. My very first job out of college was at an internet company, and it was teaching people how to search on the internet.
Okay.
We thought we had killed it. Internet search. We are it. We are the winners of internet search. Had no idea there was something called Google that was going to be coming 5 years later, 8 years later, right? And so it was teaching all the new people that were online, right? And we thought of AOL as a completely separate thing. I guess you would compare AOL to like what we initially people were calling Flow, like, oh, they're just their own private thing. They're not mixing with the rest of us, right? That was kind of the AOL. But people kind of came out of AOL to like experience the internet or the World Wide Web, which is what we called it then, the same way people do from Flow too. So I have a different attitude on that. But was working in the internet space, and then we had a crash. We had a bear market.
Yeah, massive crash. Yeah.
For the internet. We had a bear market for the internet.
Yeah.
And we left the internet. I went to law school. My husband got a job in traditional at KPN Quest, actually in Europe, doing like traditional telecom, and we left the internet, and that we're not going to do again. And so now it's like, what was that? What was the internet? It was an opportunity for the world to come together and know each other, coordinate together at a time that was just never possible before. And how did we let that go? How did we not realize that, of course, that's what people want? But for now, with crypto, it's almost like the internet growing up. Now we have our own money that defies political boundaries, that defies geographical boundaries. Like, this is just a new way to be together and to coordinate together, have businesses together, interact together, solve problems together. Like, this is not going away. Like, regardless of the bear market, whatever, bear market, yes, no, we know people on Earth want to be together.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to stop people from being together. And so that's why this is going to win. And so that's what keeps me going.
That's a very beautiful ending, actually. People want to connect and be together. So I'm going to let that sit at the end of it. So thank you very, very much for being with me and giving your insights and your experiences and all the knowledge and all those inspiring words. So thank you very much for being with me. And obviously all the best with Collabland and everything that you touch in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. It's incredibly special. If I could leave everyone with that would be perfect. Just yes, this is it. Like, let's all create the world we want to see. Like, this is a real opportunity for world building right now.
Ja.
Like, if you see problems in your current system, think about how we can solve it together and just do it. Like, don't be afraid. Just go for it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much and talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Vielen Dank fürs Zuhören. Wenn dir die Folge gefallen hat, dann lass uns gerne ein Like da, klick auf Abonnieren, mach eine Bewertung und schau auf jeden Fall auch mal auf unsere Social-Media-Kanäle sowie den Newsletter. Dort findest du immer alle News rund um Kryptoticker, der Podcast. Und jetzt einen schönen restlichen Tag, Abend oder Morgen und bis zum nächsten Mal.